What happens when you mix one of the most capable lager breweries in the world with what could be the best beer style in the world? Well, we are about to find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today I'm taking a look at this from Brauhaus Tegernseer or Tegernseer, or every time I do this I forget what the people in the comments said in my previous video covering them, but this is the Tegernseer Brewery. It is steeped in history and yet weirdly not that well known. This is their Dunkel Export or Export Dunkel, and for those that don't know what a Dunkel is, simply it's a dark lager, a very traditional, if not the de facto traditional German beer style. An export just means it's stronger than one they made before, so it travels a bit better. That is basically it. This one comes in at I think it's 5% on the nose, but I do want to find out for sure. Yeah, 5% on the nose, and well, I've made no secret of the fact that this brewery, despite me not really knowing the name of it, it's got like 5 different names, so that's why it all gets a bit lost. But let's just call it Tegernseer or Tegernseer for the sake of ease. And I've made no qualms by the fact that I think they make the best Helles lager. It might even be the best lager in the world. They're run-of-the-mill Hells. And it's fantastic. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And despite that, everything else I've had from them has been a bit hit or miss. Now, it's not to say that the Tegernseer Brewery doesn't make good beer other than their Hells. They're all great, but when you've kind of hit that accolade of, I think that might be my favourite beer of all time, to have all of the rest of them just come away as good German beer, just, I don't know, it leaves me feeling a bit flat. And it's not that I wouldn't buy them again even, it's just, well, that Helles is so good, and it always leaves me with the impression that I know what these guys are capable of. But if there's anything that's likely to give me another big thumbs up, it's this. Because as much as I like that Hells and I like a lager, a dark lager is one of my personal favourite styles. Again, if not my overall personal favourite style. So we're dealing with what could be my favourite style with what could be, well, I'm not going to say my favourite brewery because I only really like one of them, but a brewery that I think might be more capable than any other. Now, I am acutely aware that in my last couple of videos I've waffled on a lot before getting into the beer, so let's just do it straight away. Quick look at the bottle. It is exactly what you would expect from Tegernseer. The only real difference between this and the Hells is, well, obviously the word Dunkel Export instead of Hells or Helles, and the red stripe around the outside of the sticker. That is it. The on the back there, it is all just in German, so not a great deal to get into, but yeah, it is, well, a proper German looking beer. Now, I do have the appropriate branded glassware. Okay, it is a dark lager. Not as dark as some though, as we pour it out. Let's try and do this justice. And it's gone over and I'm holding it. Why did you hold it, Tom? Get it down carefully, carefully, carefully. I think we saved it. Not a drop spilled. I'm going to leave it on the bar runner for a second, but yes, that does look like a proper dark lager. Now, as with always, when I'm giving opinions on visuals of beer, it's important to note that the light sat behind that camera is incredibly bright. So to you, it looks just dark because everything looks normal. For me, I'm being blasted and bathed in light. So it does look quite pale-ish. It's a nutty brown colour sat this side of the camera. For you, probably much darker and closer to what you expect from a Dunkel. But if I hold it up, does that make any difference? Let's go for the old phone torch test. There you go. You can tell there, look, that it's not hyper dark. It is definitely on the, I'm not going to say on the lighter side of Dunkels. I've definitely had pastier ones, but it's not on the big, rich, proper dark side either. Just call it on the slightly lighter end. And that really is it. It looks, I'm going to say, absolutely fantastic. Take a look at the head on that if you can. If it comes into focus enough, can you see the well, just the close-knit and the depth and the looks of the bubbles. It looks luxurious. It looks like it's going to be amazing, and well, I'm really hoping that it is. There is a tiny bit left in the bottle, but I'm going to leave it in there in case it's full of yeast and we ruin it. So some people like it, some people don't. I've done it too many times in the review where it looks fantastic and then it just looks cloudy. So for now, we're going to leave it. But yes, it's reasonably clear. I'm trying to get rid of the cold haze off the glass. It is pretty damn clear, to be honest. Yeah, that is a beautiful looking thing. In then with the aroma, well, big, rich, kind of wholemeal bread. It's not the big, thick spice pumpernickel that you get with a lot of the Oktoberfest beers, but it's not just a soft and sweet white loaf. It's robust, it's solid. There's a bit of caramel coming through, and I am very, very happy to be back reviewing German beer. It's been a minute, and yeah, wow, that smells genuinely like everything I want from life in a glass. It is absolutely on the nose there. It's big, it's rich, it's malty. There's some nice, proper, just sweet, grassy hops. Nothing more. It's not floral. It's not spicy. It's not just, it's not dank. It's not any of the other things you describe hops as, other than just being slightly sweet, fresh grass. It's absolutely, it smells terrific, right? I'm hoping here. I've said this before about some other of their products, and they've been disappointed on the taste. So let's get into it. Could this be potentially my new favourite beer in the world? We're about to find out. Cheers. I feel like I have to say something immediately, because quite often, if I do a harsh cut after taking the first sip, people in the comments will say, we wanted to see your genuine reaction. And the problem is, it takes me a long time. I have to sit here for 30, 40 seconds and go, okay, how does it feel? Because it's not just about the flavour in the mouth, it's how it feels afterwards, it's aftertaste. It's a bit of a second taste thing as well. Look, all I can say right now is, it's very nice. Yeah, I'm very happy right now, and that's the genuine reaction. There's something about the first sip that, yes, it gives you an impression of to whether it's good or not. You don't really get the full experience, because whatever you've eaten that day, whatever else you've drank that day, everything else goes into impacting your taste buds, and they will impact it for the entire duration of this pint. But the first sip is so much more heavily impacted than any other that it's really irrelevant, other than just to give you a bit of an idea. That's fantastic. Could it be the best? I think it could. Okay, before I get too carried away, proper top to bottom taste test. So initially, on the tip of the tongue, nice, rich, dark malt, very cereal forward, it's got a bit of a shredded wheat about it, but I don't hate that. It reminds you of where this came from, of the core original ingredients, and that I'm very happy with. There's not a great deal else. It's not particularly sweet, but it's not particularly bitter either. Quite neutral. But yeah, just a nice bit of grain profile, really, is all that's going on. Mid palate, still very much in the same wheelhouse. We've shifted though. It's more bready, distinctly toasted. It's very toasty. I want to say smoky, but it's not quite there. It is just some nice, well done toast. Argument for a nice bit of salt and butter on there, but to be honest, I think I'm just getting excited for what I could have for my tea later. So yeah, no, it's very much that way. It's very just toasty, which is what it's meant to be in a dark lager. Is still very much in that wheats and grains wheelhouse though. Back of the tongue, it changes up. Bitterness comes in with a reasonable hit. It's not a properly bitter beer, but considering how neutral the front of the palate is, yeah, back of the tongue definitely comes in kicking hard with a bit of much needed bitterness, let's be honest, for balance. And there's something else in there. It's interestingly what happens. Hold on a minute. It's hard to fathom under that bitterness. The toastiness kind of continues for sort to blend with some other things, but underneath it all, you get what you would traditionally get in a German beer a bit earlier in the process, which is just a look into that exquisite Bavarian water profile. It is there. It's just a good mineral water base. The fact that you can still taste that underneath everything else just goes to show how high the quality of the ingredients is here. And yeah, absolutely superb. Aftertaste then, wholemeal cracker, a bit more bitterness, bit of grassiness, and then we're flowing out into what is an impossibly clean finish. It really is. Just leaves you wanting to go in for another sip. This is, without fail, the closest that the Tegernseer Brewery have gotten to their Helles for me personally. This is an absolute winner. It's available in the UK for less than £4 a bottle in a lot of places. Beer Merchant's website, Beers of Europe, the usual suspects for great German stuff, and yeah, less than £4 a bottle. It is superb. But is it as good in its own realm as the Helles? Because I'll say it again, that is the best lager, the best Helles going. I think it's certainly the best German lager at any rate, at least for me. This, okay, we're still in lager territory. You know what I mean, though. A Helles, a bright lager. This is as good, potentially better. It might be a better beer for me. I like a dark lager, but is it the best dark lager? I don't know. The reason I'm saying that is because the Helles does everything a Helles should do to the absolute nines. Like, it is perfection. This isn't doing everything a Dunkel or a dark lager can do. It's not as sweet, it's not as rich, it's not as toasty as they can be. But it is harder in that style of beer to say a definitive that's the best, because there is so much more variance. Because you're using the roasted and toasted malt, you simply can get away with more variety. And this is a slightly chilled out one. It's not lost flavour. Everything that's there is there in a very meaningful, very distinct and very enjoyable way. But just the very notion of going, could it be a bit richer? Could it be a bit more special? Ultimately leads us to the decision that maybe it's not the best. But then again, I'm now going to struggle to tell you who is in comparison. So, while I ponder that quandary for a minute, a little about the brewery. Now, the reason that I said it's sometimes it's the Tegernseer Brewery, sometimes it's Brauhaus Tegernseer, sometimes basically, this is very unique, and it's only really been available in the UK over the last couple of years, anything from them. In fact, it was fairly limited to just its regional area in Germany for a long time. They are in Bavaria, they're 30 miles south of Munich or something like that, and they are in an old, church isn't the right word, Tom. Monastery. So think, the tradition of monk brewing beer. This is where we are. It's not a functional monastery anymore. The building is owned by the Bavarian royal family. So this beer is effectively owned by royalty, and it shows because, well, they make some damn royal pints. It is it's just one of those anomaly places. They don't really have their own website. Even Wikipedia doesn't know a lot about them. It is just, one of those things. But it doesn't matter, because we can find it to buy, and that ultimately all that does matter. This isn't a brewery with heaps of fanfare and marketing. This is just let the beer do the talking, and as you already know, that is the best beer. That's why you're here watching me and not down the road drinking insert whoever's on at your local Marston's now, because you get the idea. But it is frightfully good, this, and I'm definitely going to order a load more. And I feel a head-to-head coming on with their Hells, because I genuinely can't tell you if I think this is better or not. It's very much on a par. It feels like very much the same product, just with a little bit of a side shift with the roasted malt, which is fantastic. I'm very happy. But a Dunkel is a much more fierce beast to master than a Helles. Is it? I don't really mean that, because obviously the simplicity of a Helles makes it innately you can't get anything wrong. So I think the fact that they've still got what I consider to be the best Helles in the world as a true mark, but I think they could have done something bigger with this, and they haven't. But maybe we should appreciate that reserve, because as a dark sessionable beer, it really is very hard to beat, and I think that is the conclusion we will leave it on. So that's it. That's all I've got to say about it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.